Hi, my name is Kadeena Cox. I am four-time Paralympic champion in cycling and athletics. I most recently became Paralympic champion in the 500 metre time trial and the team sprint in cycling, both of which I did in a world record time.
And as an athlete, ensuring you fuel your body correctly is key. Do you have any hints and tips that you can share with our city team?
Nutrition is so key for performance. I think a lot of people forget that as athletes, it's not just about the training, but it's about the rest and the recovery. And part of that recovery process is making sure we get the right nutrition in. So timing is key with nutrition and making sure you get it in at the right time. Making sure you have meals spread out across the day. If you're doing any form of kind of workout, you want to make sure you're getting protein in after that. If you're doing long workouts, you want to make sure you're having some carbs before that to make sure you're fueled for the session. And if you're doing sessions back to back, always have a carb treat in between, just to make sure you can get through your sessions effectively, because there's no point in doing the sessions if you're not going to be fueled effectively.
Amazing. And we've got quite a lot of runners and cyclists within our team. Is there anything specific for them that you would advise?
In terms of cycling, I would always say to make sure you eat your meal 2 hours before, just so you avoid being sick. But I would also say make sure you get a good carb in there. So I tend to have either a breakfast smoothie, which you can also have a little bit closer if you're doing that in the morning, because it means it will be taken in quicker. So I have some oats in there, some milk for the protein, and then just some fruit. But also if it's lunchtime, I will always have some protein, so some turkey or some fish, and then some sweet potato and some veg, which is always good. And then again, it's about that recovery process. So making sure, within half an hour of finishing what you're doing, you're getting in maybe a protein shake or a protein smoothie, just to get in that protein straight away, and then try getting a protein rich meal after you've done your exercise, to make sure you have the protein in your body to be able to allow your muscles to adapt and then recover. The same in athletics. It's all about that fueling, and if you're going for longer rides, longer runs, you want to make sure you're fueling while you're doing those. So you can use things like bananas, rice cakes, protein balls, or gels, and you can take them throughout the duration, taking them kind of every 20 minutes if you're on a longer, more endurance effort. Things like the bananas and the rice cakes, you have them earlier on in the ride or whatever, and then you start to use gels towards the back end, just because of being able to digest that while you're out doing that exercise.
So you mentioned protein balls and things like that. Would you say that it's better for people to be making these at home, and if so, what would you advise they put in these protein balls? What are the key ingredients?
So for things like protein balls, they're really good, they're really handy. It's something that you can just pop in and you're getting a little protein hit. I do recommend doing them yourself, just because you know exactly what's going into them. So you can put things like almond butter, peanut butter, cashew butter, any type of nut butter, and then sometimes I'll put in dates with that. I'll put in oats. I like to put desiccated coconut around the edge of some of mine, and you can put in honey, maple syrup. There's lots of variations that you can do of protein balls. I'm going to be doing some recipes for protein balls for people to create, but you can put lots of different flavors in them and just do whatever you like. And that's a good thing about making them yourself. You've got this go-to snack that has got a certain amount of protein in it, and you can tailor make it to what flavors you like. And they're really simple. If you've got a base for a protein ball, you can then kind of adapt that and change it a little bit and put different flavors in to suit your needs.
Amazing. And in terms of recipes, obviously congratulations on winning winning Celebrity MasterChef. Are there any other kind of key recipes that you think would be good to share in terms of when you're making up a dish, what's important to include nutrition wise, etc.?
So I always say, in terms of nutrition, it's changed very much. When you're doing a MasterChef dish, it's very different to what you would do if you were fueling for a training session. But for me, it's always about having that kind of balance of protein, carb, and vegetables. And also having some fat in there. I think people with a lot of diets, people try to take out carbs or take out fat, and you actually need these things for your body to be able to fuel effectively. As a power-based athlete, protein is most important for me, so I tend to have half my plate to be protein, and then I'll have a quarter carbs and a quarter veggies. Some people can have it more balanced, so they'll have a third of each. But just making sure you've got good quality lean meat. So things like turkey's really good, fishes are always really good. So salmons, sea basses, mackerels. These are really oily fishes, which are also really good because you get the omega-3. But then I don't eat meat personally, but if you're a meat eater, things like lean beef, lamb, those things are really good because they're iron rich as well. So you get that iron side of things, so you don't end up anemic or iron deficient, which is what I am. Things like Swiss chard and spinach can try offset that, though. They're really good. They're iron rich foods. And you want to make sure, I'd say always get seasonal vegetables. I'd say always get seasonal vegetable. They'll always be better. They're not, farmed and produced when they shouldn't be in season. Seasonal vegetables are always better. And they're in the season. There's plenty of them. So we want to think about not wasting food and helping with the ecosystem and global warming. Getting getting the seasonal veg is always better. In terms of your carbohydrates, you want to make sure you're having complex carbohydrates. Things like sweet potatoes, my go-to, which it's a really good one. I always have things like quinoa, bulgur wheat. If I have rice, it's always kind of whole grain or white rice. I tend to avoid the starchy potatoes, like white potatoes, white rice, bread. Those things can be great, as a quick snack, but they're not as good for you in terms of the way that they're digested. And things like, quick things that you can do, have a wrap, which you can, if you've got leftover chicken, you can use leftover chicken or turkey and just put some salad in there, make a dressing. These things are all really simple things that you can do, having some staple kind of marinades that you have, having some staple salad dressings that you have, so you can just throw these things together and, quick and easy meals, because when you're training or when you're getting back from, working out or getting up in the morning to work out, you don't want to have to think about, doing loads of cooking. You want to be able to get back and just have your meal, so you're getting that protein hitting straight away, getting that carbohydrate in to make sure you're recovering.
Yeah, and it's really important that you say about having things prepared. Obviously, we know some people can often try to skip meals or different things, and I believe that you also have suffered with eating disorders. Could you maybe talk a little bit about how you've overcome these and how kind of our colleagues, some advice that you might have for them?
Yeah, so I'm very open in speaking about the fact that I have an eating disorder. So I have disordered eating or bulimia, and it's something I suffered with for a long time, and I felt like kind of skipping meals was the best way to lose weight, and not eating was going to make me the body type that I wanted. In actual fact, it's really detrimental, and you risk injury, you risk health issues. Obviously mentally it's not great, but if you're training when you're not fueled effectively, you do massively risk injury, in terms of being out on the bike, being in the gym. You're not as alert, you're not as strong, you may be feeling dizzy if you're skipping meals. Also in terms of recovery, your body's not able to do the recovery process, so rather than helping to build up your muscles, it's actually breaking down to try to fuel your body, and your body starts to break down the muscle instead of the energy sources that it's getting from the food that you're taking in. So I'd always say it's key to make sure you're getting your meals and you're having regular meals throughout the day. I know a lot of people do things like intermittent fasting, but making sure you're feeling well when you're having those meals, and you're feeling well around your training sessions, making sure your fluid intake's really high. I think on average you're supposed to have 3 litres a day. Because of my working out, I always kind of try to aim for 4 litres a day. You'll notice I've always got my water bottle on hand. So just making sure, you're getting in the liquid you need. But your body needs fuel to function. Your brain needs fuel to function. Your organs can't work effectively without fuel. So making sure you're not skipping meals is important, not just for your health, and not just for your sport, but also for your health.
Amazing. And could you maybe just, obviously I know that you have to train quite intensely all the time, but then when you've got competition, how does your eating and meals how are they affected in the lead up to a competition and during competition?
So I try to keep things the same, you know, from competition to, or from training to competition. But obviously once you get closer to competition, you want to be making sure that you are, you know, as lean as possible and you are at race weight, if, you know, that's kind of something that you focus on. So for me, I have a more optimal weight, so we kind of aim for that. And that means rather than, so I work on what's called an 80-20 basis, so 80% of the time I'll eat well, 20% of the time I will have a little bit of a treat. That goes 9-10 when I'm kind of close to competition, to make sure that I'm, you know, as lean as possible and everything that I'm getting is nutritious and not gaining unnecessary fat, but making sure all my training is, all the food that I'm fueling is to kind of allow me to do the training. Also, when you get closer to a competition, you're also doing less training, so you don't need all that extra fuel. So my meals are more focused, you know, making sure I'm just kind of getting protein. I reduce the carbohydrate intake in the evening, and yeah, we kind of still have a real like scheduled meal plan for race days. So for race days, I'll make sure I'll be having the right amount of carbohydrates in the lead up to my competition. And I'll also have caffeine supplements as well, so I'll take that at the right time. I try to have like a snack just before, like an hour and a half before my actual competition. So whether that's, you know, a banana, a rice cake, a protein ball, and then also I try to make sure I get my protein gels in straight after my competition, whether that's protein gel or protein shake. I'll always have someone on hand to give me that straight away. So it's been amazing, you know, being supported by City, and being supported throughout things like COVID. They're a great partner to work with. So I just want to say a massive thank you to you, and yeah, I hope we continue to work together. But also thank you to all the people behind the scenes. Thank you to everyone that's working hard. I hope you're all, you know, working hard at work, but also, you know, taking time to enjoy training, taking time to enjoy watching us compete, and yeah, just keep up the hard work with everything that you're doing, and I'll do the same over here.